Pontiac Firebird 1967–69. The first-generation Firebird had characteristic Coke bottle styling shared with its cousin, the Chevrolet Camaro. Announcing a Pontiac styling trend, the Firebird's bumpers were integrated into the design of the front end, giving it a more streamlined look than the Camaro. The Firebird's rear-slit taillights were inspired by the 1966–1967 Pontiac GTO. Both the two-door hardtop and a convertible were offered through the 1969 model year. Originally, the car was a consolation prize for Pontiac, which had desired to produce a two-seat sports car based on its original Banshee concept car. However, GM feared this would cut into Chevrolet Corvette sales, and gave Pontiac a piece of the pony car market through sharing the F-body platform with Chevrolet. The 1967 base model Firebird came equipped with the Pontiac 230 cubic inches, 3.8 liters, SOC inline 6. Based on the standard Chevrolet 230 cubic inches, 3.8 liters, inline 6, it was fitted with a single-barrel carburetor and rated at 165 horsepower, 123 kilowatts. The Sprint Model 6 came with a 4-barrel carburetor, developing 215 horsepower, 160 kilowatts. Most buyers opted for one of three V8s, the 326 cubic inches, 5.3 liters, with a 2-barrel carburetor producing 250 horsepower, 186 kilowatts, the 4-barrel high output, 326, producing 285 horsepower, 213 kilowatts, or the 325 horsepower, 242 kilowatts 400 cubic inches, 6.6 liters, from the GTO. All 1967–1968 400s engines had throttle restrictors that blocked the carburetor's second barrels from fully opening. A ram air option was also available, providing functional hood scoops, higher flow heads with stronger valve springs, and a hotter camshaft. Power for the ram air package was the same as the conventional 400 but peaked at 5,200 revolutions per minute. The 230 cubic inches, 3.8 liters, engines were subsequently replaced in 1968 by the Chevrolet 250 cubic inches, 4.1 liters, stroke 230 cubic inches, 3.8 liters, engines, the first developing an increased 175 horsepower, 130 kilowatts, using a single-barrel carburetor, and the other the same 215 horsepower with a 4-barrel carburetor. Also for the 1968 model, the 326 cubic inches, 5.3 liters, engine was replaced by the Pontiac 350 cubic inches, 5.7 liters, V8, which actually displaced 355 cubic inches, 5.8 liters, and produced 265 horsepower, 198 kilowatts, with a 2-barrel carburetor. An HO version of the 350 cubic inches, 5.7 liters, with a revised cam was also offered starting in that year, which developed 320 horsepower, 239 kilowatts. Power output of the other engines was increased marginally. There was an additional ram air 4 option for the 400 cubic inches, 6.6 liters, V8 engines during 1969, complementing the ram air 3. These generated 345 horsepower, 350 PS, 257 kilowatts, at 5,000 revolutions per minute and 430 pounds-feet, 583 Nm, of torque at 3,400 revolutions per minute, and 335 horsepower, 340 PS, 250 kilowatts, respectively. The 350 cubic inches, 5.7 liters, HO engine was revised again with a different cam and cylinder heads resulting in 325 horsepower, 242 kilowatts. During 1969 a special 303 cubic inches, 5.0 liters, engine was designed for SECA road racing applications that was not available in production cars. The styling difference from the 1967 to the 1968 model was the addition of federally mandated side marker lights, for the front of the car, The turn signals were made larger and extended to wrap around the front edges of the car, and on the rear, the Pontiac, V-shaped, arrowhead logo was added to each side. The front door vent windows were replaced with a single pane of glass and astro ventilation, a fresh air inlet system. The 1969 model received a major facelift with a new front-end design, but unlike the GTO, it did not have the Endura bumper. The instrument panel and steering wheel were revised. The ignition switch was moved from the dashboard to the steering column with the introduction of GM's new locking ignition switch, steering wheel. In March 1969, a $1,083 $7,643 in $2,020 optional handling package called the Trans Am Performance and Appearance Package, UPCWS4, named after the Trans Am series, was introduced. A total of 689 hardtops and 8 convertibles were made. Due to engineering problems that delayed the introduction of the all-new 1970 Firebird beyond the usual fall debut, Pontiac continued production of 1969 model Firebirds into the early months of the 1970 model year. The other 1970 Pontiac models had been introduced on September 18, 1969. By late spring of 1969, Pontiac had deleted all model year references on Firebird literature and promotional materials, anticipating the extended production run of the then current 1969 models.